Good afternoon and welcome to the Rush this afternoon. We want to say thank you very much to all of you joining. As I normally say on the program, on the afternoon rush, let's unpack, folks. Welcome back to the Rush for this afternoon. It's Monday the 7th of June 2021. We want to say thank you very much to those persons joining us internationally, in the region, and right here in Guyana. My name is 𝗧𝗵𝗲. Let's get you up to scratch with what is happening around the country, around Georgetown, right here, folks. We have lots of information to get to you. We are going to be talking about the flood relief effort around the country. We're going to give you some updates on what's happening and highlight the inadequacies of what the government is doing with the situation that will be unfolding very soon in Parliament with those two parliamentary secretaries, members of Parliament, whatever you want to call them, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 and 𝗧𝗵𝗲. Those two persons who are illegally squatting in Parliament, although the Chief Justice would have ruled that they are illegal in Parliament, the PPP continues to push for them to sit in, and we're going to unpack that situation. We're also going to be looking at what is going on at the Public Procurement Commission, which is being stripped by this fraudulent PPP government. It is being stripped by this fraudulent PPP government. We're going to look into that. We're going to be calling the representative from region number 5, Mr. Vince Roy Jordan. He's going to be giving us some updates on what is happening there in his region. You know, on Sunday, we gave you some breaking news as to what was happening there in terms of the flood situation. We're also going to be talking about the leader of the opposition's visit to Port Drawing in region number 3, the village that the leader of the opposition hails from, which is being severely neglected, even though they're severely affected by the flood situation. He visited and he gave some hampers to persons in need. Folks, good afternoon again. It has been 309 days. 309 days of this fraudulently installed administration, and we continue to see and continue to hold their feet to the fire, keep them accountable what is happening here in Guyana. Let us get our usual greetings in before we start the program proper. Let me say good afternoon to all of you people. It's Hazel Griffith. I see you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I see you're a Chelsea fan also. Don't let me start talking sports because, of course, you know, the NBA playoff is on. The Los Angeles Clippers, narrow escape last night. Brooklyn, good win in the second round. Good win over the 76ers. Those persons looking at us from Brooklyn. Toronto is in the house. Toronto is in the house. Good afternoon, persons joining us from GT. Just let us know where you're watching the program from this afternoon. And remember, you can share the live stream. Let your friends and family know we're about to unpack some credible and valid information here on The Rush. If you're looking at us on YouTube, thank you very much. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. Let us know that you're enjoying the programming that we're bringing to you here, APN UFC TV. Entire host of APN UFC TV programs that we bring to you. Programming note here for those persons who are normally tuned to the page throughout the day. At 6:30, we are going to be joining Miss Natasha, MP Natasha 𝗧𝗵𝗲. I keep this name, just keep tying my tongue up, man. I don't know what's happening today. Natasha 𝗧𝗵𝗲, MP, is going to be on with her program at 6:30, Building Bridges. She has a special guest this afternoon, Mr. 𝗧𝗵𝗲, no stranger to anyone, Guyanese comedian 𝗧𝗵𝗲. He's going to be on her show. And of course, at 8 p.m., we have our usual In the Ring show with Sherry Duncan. We normally like to carry Mark Benchcop's programming at 9. So you have an entire evening, starting with yours truly at 5:30. You can always tune in. Programming starts from 5:30. Sorry you're on it late this afternoon. The programming starts from 5:30 every day. Every day we're here. We're trying to be. It is hard sometimes. Let me, it's hard sometimes to keep up with all of the news that is happening. But we here, we try to bring you credible and valid information every single day, folks. Let us know where you're joining us from. Brooklyn is in the house. Brooklyn, you must be proud. You must be proud. Kind of iffy there though, because you don't know if you'll get back. James Harden went down in the first minute of the game, but let's see what will happen. Raleigh, North Carolina. Lovely, lovely, lovely place, Raleigh, North Carolina. Thank you very much for tuning in. Right, New York. Montserrat is in the house. Faye Joseph, Sam, thank you very much for tuning in. Destiny says Anil is watching. Well, I don't know. Maybe you were seeing that he is watching. Well, we're always happy to have all of them on watching the show. Maybe they can get some credible and valid information to share. Brooklyn, Toronto is in the house. Linden is in the house. I didn't give you your shout out the last time on Thursday, I think, when we were on. My apologies. We had so much news to deal with, but I'm always happy to say good afternoon to all of the people and places that are looking at our program. We appreciate that you are here. We appreciate that you are sharing the information that you're getting here in AP and UFC TV, sharing the credible and valid information as we give it to you daily. No spin, just what is happening in our country, highlighting this fraudulent administration for what they are. Trinidad is in the house. Wendy Williams, thank you very much for tuning in. St. Lucia, we're good friends over there in St. Lucia. How is it in St. Lucia? Are you getting the rains as we are here in Guyana? Skeldon is in the house. Linden, good afternoon. Carlton Hill, Brooklyn. Is it Carlton or no? Clinton Hill, sorry. Yes, Trinidad is in the house. Bahamas, Antigua, all the Caribbean friends, our CARICOM brothers and sisters, thank you very much for tuning in, folks. We have a lot to unpack this afternoon, and so we'll get to what is happening around the country. Right. Now, outside of the fact that we have been dealing with COVID-19, in our country. We have been hit with unprecedented floods. Let me just pause here to say, Grenada, thank you very much for tuning in. Lovely, lovely country, Grenada. I have lots of friends over there. Good afternoon to you, Patrick Jr. Thank you very much. Minnesota. Sorry about the Timberwolves, but yeah. Anyhow, let's go, people. We've been hit with severe floods over the past few days, few weeks, so to speak. And the government's response has been found wanting, for a better term, for want of a better term, it has been found wanting. And, folks, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Every single region in this country has been hit with severe floods. Region number 9 is underwater. Region number 8, we have similar issues happening. Region number 9, region number 8, region number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every single region is under severe flooding. And what is quite sad is that we heard recently that the CDC is there to are sort of reeling to catch up and sort of provide supplies. We've been hearing that supplies are limited. All of this is happening. And there's a question to be asked. So what has caused this? This is nothing unusual. We normally have May, June rains. But we have never seen May-June rains affect the entire country in such a devastating manner. In such a devastating manner. Right? We have seen it. And let's go back to what is happening in region number 9, because I want to give you an update, folks. I want to give you an update. This is region number 9. I want to ensure we know COVID has hit the entire world. We weren't immune to it. Now we have the floodings. Villages in region number 9, and we're picking up this story from the Village Voice. Of course, subscribe to Village Voice also for your daily credible and valid information. Villages in region number 9 are living in fear that should the flood situation worsen, not only will their food and financial security be affected for an extended period, but the fight against the deadly coronavirus will be made much more difficult. As of June 5th, Regional Health Officer for Region Number 9, Dr. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 told newspapers that over 289 active cases across the region. And farmers also are reeling, folks. The food security is being threatened in all of these regions. 𝗧𝗵𝗲, which is located in the deep south of the Rupununi, and several surrounding villages have been affected by heavy rainfalls and flooding. A number of creeks and the Rupununi, that these creeks that connect with the Rupununi River. Lots of rainfall. One of the farmers is saying that this cassava, they said their entire crop of cassava has now been damaged. Folks, and as we see this happening, there is a concerning, alarming thing happening in terms of coordination. In terms of coordination between not only the CDC, but other government agencies and whatever efforts are being done in these regions. I can tell you that the people in the region, the people at central government are struggling to figure out how to coordinate to get aid to the people in the region. Simple things like contact numbers for the people in the region you can't get. We know, of course, that the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development, headed by the tin pot dictator 𝗧𝗵𝗲, who before the flooding found himself in everybody's business. Found himself in everybody's business. In every NDC, every CDC, every RDC business, he is playing dictator. Now, simply coordinating with these regional bodies is proving extremely difficult under the incompetent tenure, the incompetent stewardship of 𝗧𝗵𝗲. I tell you this, simple things like getting phone numbers and contact information for those persons in the region. If you want to find out what is happening, where the aid is going, how is it that you can help, you can't even get that from the ministry. And as we discuss this, these people in the regions are suffering, and we're going to see an extremely terrible economic fallout from these floodings. Folks, it is a sad situation, and we only hope that the government can get themselves in order and provide some sort of significant relief for those persons in the regions. Now, I know we shared with you region number 5. This was region number 9. In region number 5, we had a report from Regional MP Vincroy Jordan on Sunday, and the residents were fearful, of course, that this final dam that separated the water from the residential area, that would be overtopped also, right? So I want to get an update from
here. As we can see, the water rising rapidly. The last of the main dam that could save the rice and cash crop farmers here in 𝗵𝗲𝗄.
yes.
One farmer is now coming to tell us of the fear that he has. Good afternoon, sir.
Let's play that back for you.
This is the last of the dam here. As we can see, the water rising rapidly. The last of the main dam
What you're
that
looking
could
at
save
is
the rice
region number 5
and cash crop farmers here in 𝗵𝗲𝗄. One farmer is now coming to tell us of the fear that he has.
Right.
Good afternoon, sir.
Folks, if you're now joining us, that was the scene in region number 5 on Sunday. And I have on the line with me regional MP responsible for region number 5, Mr. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 who gave you that report just now. We would like an update. 𝗧𝗵𝗲, good afternoon and welcome to The Rush.
Hi, Randy. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me.
Right. We know on
Good afternoon to your viewers.
Great. We know on Sunday you gave us that update and we saw some of the images coming out of region number 5. What can you tell us about what has happened since?
Right. Well, first thing I want to make mention, Randy, is that since then to now, or to yesterday rather, we saw the visit of a regional team that went to do distribution of hampers.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is clear to my mind, unless we had make it what it was on Saturday, that when we made the announcement about the flooding and make it public, nobody would have went into 𝗵𝗲𝗄 because all the time they neglect. And as soon as we hit social media with it, they went in less than a day.
Yes.
They turned up to share hampers. But alarmingly, Randy, the hampers were distributed and a number of persons did not receive the hampers.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, they make it a big political game. The member of parliament for the PPP in the region went in and he did what he had to do. And then at the end of it, a number of persons still they left without hampers.
Wow.
But apart from the hampers, Randy, the water rose yesterday in some areas to 6 feet, and of course in the savannah areas, we understand it is still, which I could not have gotten the opportunity to go directly on ground with that. It is still 7 feet and such.
Wow.
This morning we learned that during the course of today, there's supposed to be some amount of crowning of some dams and building, bit of support to keep out the water in the 𝗵𝗂𝗀 Creek. So I don't know how successful that is because one pontoon with excavator has actually, how must I put it? It sunk. I don't know if it's 2 or 3 excavators that were on it.
Yes.
But the reports are that it has sunk, and they're now trying to get the pontoon and the excavators out of the river. So that is the situation we're in with regard to them trying to mitigate, some effort to ease the burden or the flood on the people.
Yeah.
But apart from that, the water is still on the ground. And what is very much concerning at the moment, Randy,
yes,
is that all the water distribution networks, and that is drinking water distribution networks, they are covered at the moment. All.
Wow.
So So what because I know of the system in that area, what we can expect is severe compromise of the network, because it is a very aged network in terms of years. It has been there for quite some time, and also it is not one which you have, the best of secured connections.
Yeah.
Because of the area where it is, the connections are not 100% guaranteed, secured, and so you would find that the creek water, river water can now seep into that. And why I said that is alarming, because a number of pit latrines are now covered.
Yes, I was about to ask about that, because I know in those
Right.
a lot of those rural communities, they still use those the outhouses, or pit latrines, if you want to call them that. And that's
Right.
that's a sanitation hazard, as we have the
Correct.
flooding.
So I have since advised the residents there on using water that is safe. But what I know for sure is that they had a small amount of storage, but by the end of the day that should run out. In terms of drinking water, I'm speaking about there, and for other house purposes, they boil and they use the bleach and use the rainwater, because they do a lot of water harvesting, the rainwater. So they have the opportunity to use that now. And so, Randy, I am very much concerned about that community in terms of the water shortage, because it is a community that is not close to any other source in terms of providing, or they cannot run to a supermarket easily.
Yes.
To get water. So it is a challenge now for them there.
Yeah.
And to know that no excavator, no machine, no pump. As a matter of fact, Randy, it is alarming now that the pump was taken to. Now we're hearing, because I raised the alarm that the pump was removed, that the pump is suddenly in a workshop. Now, the Minister of Agriculture, they installed 𝗧𝗵𝗲 said that they budgeted money for all these things, rehabilitation and maintenance of pumps.
Yes.
And such. I cannot help but stress on it.
Yeah, Mr. Jordan, I know that when we spoke on Sunday, we had an issue with the pump. What is the update? Has the pump been restored? Is the water being pumped away from the residents? Anything is happening on that front?
No, nothing happening on that front. The pump, Randy, after I keep pressing on where is the pump and why is the pump not there, this morning I learned that, no, not this morning, this day after I came with me, that the pump is in a workshop. They're trying to justify to me that the pump is not in working condition. When the residents of the community were using their pumps, the pump rather, and all of a sudden, because I made the alarm and I asked questions, where the hell the pump gone?
Yeah.
Now you're hearing that the pump is stripped and in a workshop. But I want them to show me the pump, Randy, or show the community this is the pump. But it is not only to see the pump. Why is it that they're incompetent? Always have to be that people suffer at the hands of these incompetent people.
Yeah.
Because if they knew May, June rain were coming, and it is monies were already budgeted and allocated for these works, then get the pump service repaired, maintained, new impellers, whatever it might be, shaft coupling, and such like. But you see, Randy, when you have people who doesn't have the requisite knowledge and understanding of how things work, we will always have these failures.
Yes.
We will always have these failures, and so the pump is in some workshop. As it is alleged that the pump is in a workshop. And while people are suffering, and we haven't had rain for the last 3 days. So we could have been draining water from the land, and it would have bring some amount of relief to the residents of 𝗵𝗲 and the farmers nearby.
MP,
it would have brought some amount of relief.
MP, once let me just jump in here, because I see a comment from somebody who is claiming to be a resident of 𝗵𝗲, and I want to bring up the comment. Folks, if you're now joining us, we're getting an update on the situation at region number 5, specifically the village of 𝗵𝗲, where MP Viceroy Jordan on Sunday brought the attention to light and quite a significant amount of flooding up there. So we're picking up on a comment from one of the viewers. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 said, I'm a resident of 𝗵𝗲. The situation is terrible here. The water is continuing to rise and it's beginning to stink. I have not received no hamper or assistance from the government up to now. Of course, this is a resident of 𝗵𝗲 there in 𝗵𝗂𝘀𝗵. Your thoughts?
Well, Randy, you see, that is exactly what I was telling you. And I was sharing with Mark yesterday. We have competent people in Region 5, like myself, who were trained in disaster risk management in the year, I think it's 2013, 14, and 15 we were trained, or 15, 16, somewhere about. And we were retrained under the coalition government in shelter management, needs analysis, damage assessment and needs analysis, disaster preparedness. These are things that we have equipped at our fingertips.
Yeah.
Now, if you use competent people, apart from me, use the ones who are in the region at the RDC and the other levels, so that they can go assess the situation and then make meaningful contribution in terms of work and time and everything to go into the community and get hampers to the people. Now, you just wake up, because I spoke about it yesterday, the day before rather, you just wake up and decide that you're going to run into 𝗵𝗲 with 10 hampers. And you didn't even know how much households affected, how much rice farmers affected. You know nothing about the community, but you just running in.
Yeah.
So what you find here is that a few people receive hampers and some left to suffer.
Yeah.
Then the promise was that they will return today. Now, no government official, no CDC official, nobody turned up today in 𝗵𝗲. And then surprisingly, they give them cleaning agents that, Randy, if you begin to clean, you're gonna left quart away with the cleaning.
Yeah.
A little soap powder, a small bleach. Come on, man. It is ridiculous in such a... We have a national crisis, a national disaster.
Yeah.
Why can't we have money to budget it, not budget it, utilize it to ensure that the livelihood of the people are in
Yes.
tax?
Yeah. MP, and to think about it, you know, you're concentrating on your region, but this is multiplied times over across the country.
Exactly, a national issue.
Yes, yes. And, you know, up to today, we are talking about the fact that the government seems to be running around like headless chickens. I don't know what is this scattered approach, but there's no comprehensive plan to deal with this national disaster. The president himself said that they underestimated the severity of this disaster.
And Randy, I'll tell you what. I know they underestimated it. I use a reference. You know, you have a bottle with water in it, and it is not filled, but you hold it in your hand, not straight up,
yes,
but you know, and you shake it and you move the water from one side to the next side, and you know, I use that reference to say that is what the PVP is doing, or the entire management team that controls drainage and irrigation and everything right now. I'll tell you why I said that. While they're trying to save 𝗵𝗲, because I made it public, the bottom line is, the truth of the matter is, they were releasing the water from the 𝗵𝗂𝘀𝗵 Creek and the 𝗵𝗂𝘀 Creek to save villages forward up the river and flooding another community. Now, because I made it public, Randy, they tried to crown some dam and so on to keep the water from coming down. And now, on the in the 𝗵𝗂𝘀𝗵 River, 𝗵𝗂𝘀𝗵 Branch Road, you find that villages just past 𝗧𝗵𝗲 going down, the water is running over the road, and I'll provide footage by in the morning for your update tomorrow show to show you that the public road in that the branch road, the main road, is now underwater.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand? And so it is really, really ridiculous what they're doing. And I can tell you, because of the politicking in the whole system, they are making it worse than what it is supposed to be.
Yeah. And we're quite sad at what's going on. I mean, simple things like communication between the regions and central government. persons are going to the Ministry of Local Government to try and get information on the local, the regional bodies and organs, and they can't get that information. They're getting incorrect information because there's no sort of coordination happening. So, you know, this disaster is being exacerbated by the incompetence of this government.
The gross incompetence.
Yeah.
You know, because this is a time where the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Local Government, the Ministry of Public Infrastructure is supposed to be up in arms, working well with the regional Democratic Council and the neighborhood Democratic Council. But what you find, Randy, because we are controlling the council, here, 6 of the council here in the Michael Bobbitt region, they just force it, they shut us out.
Yeah.
But what I want them to know is that we know the work on the ground, and unless you involve us, you will continue to make blunders.
Yeah, yeah.
You will continue to make blunders.
Yeah. Quite a sad situation.
The fact of the matter is that the knowledge system and all of that is with the people on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very sad, man. Very sad to know that we're playing politics in a national disaster.
Yeah. Right, MP, thank you very much, and we hope that you can continue to update us on the situation there that seems to be worsening in region number 5. We hope that some sort of relief can be given to the people of Burma and the people of region 5, and I mean by extension all of Guyana. We seem to be blundering. Right. And let me just take this opportunity to let persons know that the leader of the opposition has set up the disaster emergency flood emergency center there at the office of Leave the Opposition, and I will share that information with them at the end. Vincent Jordan, MP, thank you very much for joining us today and giving us the update.
Yes, thank you, Andy.
Right, folks, that is the situation around the country, not only region number 5, but all across every single region. We see what is happening there in region number 5 happening to them, and some regions are affected way more than what is happening there. Region number 8, as we showed you, region number 8, which we thought hadn't any flood waters. This is what's going on, right? This is what's going on. This is it. That's the situation we in, Guyanese. That is the situation we're in. So it's quite dire. It is quite dire. But we need to move on. We hope, of course, that those persons who can assist so we can help out those Guyanese who are in this sad situation at the moment. As we talk about the sad situation, folks, and as we're still on floods and the affected, the leader of the opposition recently, over the weekend, visited a number of communities in region number 3. Of course, Mr. Hammond, the leader of the opposition, is from region number 3, Port Drawings to be specific. And that community has been affected also, but we saw significant neglect. And the community members who we spoke to said they believe that they are being neglected because the leader of the opposition is from that community. So the leader of the opposition, along with some MPs, teamed up to bring some relief to that community, and we'll bring you with information from that now. As you see here, that the distribution of hampers are being done, but that is what happened to over the weekend. Let me see if I can bring you some of the information shared there. Right, so this was in a region number 3 over the weekend. See if we can bring you some of the audio for what happened there. Folks, this, of course, is the handing over of some of the hampers. So the persons who were affected severely, persons I looked into people's houses, water is up to their knees in some cases. And, to think that these communities are being neglected, and for what? As the leader of the opposition said, and Mr. Jordan, MP Jordan said, the playing of
our contribution to the relief, to the flood relief, particularly in this community. This community has been significantly bypassed simply because I come from this village. And so all of the resources that have been provided by the state to assist with relief for these communities have been denied this community. Today we are doing something that we have done in some smaller communities and in the small way that we can help as an opposition. It is a government's responsibility to provide relief and support for the people of this country in this time of need, in this time of disaster. I've gone through several homes in this village and people's houses are still flooded. The water is beginning to take on a very pungent odor. And so many of them, they're basically just sitting there. There are some young men in the village here who have complained bitterly about the way in which elements of the state are being used against them to penalize and pressurize them. These are issues which we will take up at another level, and the nation will hear about that very soon. We will take that up at another level. But as for today, I want to say that based on the establishment which we have made our flood emergency center at the office of the leader of the opposition, we have been collecting information about the flooding. We've been collating that information. And what it has done, it has given us a sense as to the critical communities which require intervention.
Right. We also heard from a villager who has been helping to organize the stuff there on the ground.
Not only Guyanese must understand the impact this flood has on persons, and what is more important is that the treatment we as Guyanese are getting from the government is unacceptable. It's really unacceptable. We have homes here as we talk are still covered with water. Still covered with water. We would feel pleased to know that we had a visit, even if it's a drive-through visit, and we get a promise that we'll come back. Even if they come back and say, listen, I'm going to bring you a gallon of disinfectant for you to throw in the water. I came home one night. When I parked my vehicle there was a labari line there. Last night I was talking to one of my neighbors, and all I hear is a big noise. It was a 𝗂𝗵𝗲 or alligator, something that jumped overboard from her land. This is what we're going through. This is what we're going through. My downstairs, this young lady can't even sleep at home. For the past night, she hasn't slept at home. She hasn't cooked in our house for more than a week because it's in water. We have, up the road, we have the young lady sleeping in our house in water. We have this young man over here. He can't sleep in his house. It's sheer water. We have this to go through. We have this to go through. I want the president to know when you dig at the back, all the water running down here. And we have to endure this. The water is not running. And it has a terrible scent. It has a terrible scent. So once again, I want to thank Mr. Harmon and his team for the tokens and for remembering us at the back here. I know we are being neglected and there are reasons for us to be neglected. But there's a God. We will continue to pray and we will continue to have that unity that we have in Middle Street, and it will take us where we want to go.
Right. That was a resident from Middle Street, Port Drawing. One of the communities being neglected. Of course, the leader of the opposition is from Port Drawing. So, it is sad that we have to play politics with people's lives. Folks, so much information, so much things to unpack this afternoon. I want to get to my story behind this story. I have two things I want to do to speak about this afternoon before we go, because we're going to make way for Mr. Tasha Singh Lewis program with 𝗧𝗵𝗲 at 6:30. But I want to deal with two particular things in the realm of politics this afternoon before we go. One has to do with this dictatorship that we are running headfirst to in Guyana. We are running straight towards it. It is right in front of us. It's staring us in our eye, in our faces. We continue to see these trappings of a dictatorship being put on every day. And as the leader of the opposition refers to it, the guardrails of democracy being stripped away. What is the latest move towards the dictatorship? What is it? It's right here. Public Procurement Commission. Folks, the PPP has decided that they don't want accountability. They don't want transparency. And they have decided that they are going to do their best, their level best, to make the Public Procurement Commission impotent, useless, a waste of time. Approximately 12 persons who are attached to the Secretariat of the Public Procurement Commissions have been reportedly placed on the breadline. We never talk of the fact that they're still firing persons as we are in the heart of a pandemic where persons can't find work and the economy has regressed and depressed. We still putting people on the breadline and walking around the country as if they're doing some sort of great job. But 12 more persons got home after their contracts were not renewed with the PPC. Now, persons might not understand how significant this is. Persons might not understand how significant the Public Procurement Commission is and what the PPP is doing with it. But let me just give you an idea of what this Public Procurement Commission is all about. It was established under Article 212 of the Constitution of Guyana. The Public Procurement Commission is responsible for the monitoring of public procurement and the procedure in order to ensure procurement of goods and services and the extraction of work and the conduct is done in a fair and equitable manner, transparent and competitive and a cost-effective manner. That is what the Public Procurement Commission is supposed to be doing, to ensure that public procurement is done in a fair, equitable, transparent, competitive, and a cost-effective manner. Those are words that the PPP don't like. Those are words that are oxymoronic with corruption. They like corruption. You can't put corruption and fairness and equity and transparency and accountability together. They're oxymoronic. Huh? We can't put them together. So we can't put those words with the PPP either. And this is just another sign, people. This is just another example of what the PPP has been doing to remove every single guardrail of democracy, things that will ensure that we have a democratic society, a democratic public service, a democratic system where things are done how they are supposed to be done. They have been stripping them away. They are stripping them away. Folks, the Public Procurement Commission, among other functions, required to investigate complaints from suppliers, contractors, and public entities, as well as investigate cases of irregularity and mismanagement, and propose remedial actions. But the commission being expired. Of course, it is expired. There's no one to carefully monitor the award of contracts. There's nobody there to monitor the award of these contracts that seem to be giving away to everybody and the grandmother. Everybody and the grandmother. How much $1 billion in contracts going here and there? And the body that is supposed to manage it, they are stripping this body clean. Stripping it. You just left with the bone. This is the fraudulent PVP. And somebody reminded me in the comment section that we shouldn't refer to 𝗧𝗵𝗲 as the president. The fraudulently installed president run around this country pulling PR stunts, trying to make the people believe that he is doing something. While Jagdeo and Nandalal try to strip us of all of the things that make us a democratic country. And the president, the fraudulently installed president, is complicit in all of this. He's an accessory. He's an accessory to the dictatorship that is unfolding. If you think I am lying, if you think that what I am saying is a bit excessive, if you think that I'm just speaking on from a biased point of view, though I am, but I'm calling a spade a spade. If you are going to strip the Public Procurement Commission that is supposed to be the watchdog body, to ensure fairness in the awards of contract, equity in the awards of contract, to investigate complaints, if you are going to strip that body, send people home, then it tells me, I am just calling a spade here, that you don't want transparency and accountability and fairness. That is what it tells me. Again, if you believe that I'm being a bit excessive, if you believe that I'm being a bit excessive, let us look at another example. Let us look at another example. Now, these two people, Vikash and Sarah, that's what I call them. These are the squatters in Parliament. The Chief Justice would have ruled that them sitting in Parliament is illegal. But what's happening? You think the PVP cares about what the Chief Justice said? They're still going about like members of the Parliament, still posing for pictures, taking out picture, taking COVID shots, as under the heading Parliament of Guyana. These are members of Parliament. Note that the Chief Justice would have said that these people should not be sitting in Parliament. Folks, this is what we have in Guyana. And this particular story with the Public Procurement Commission, this is not the last that we will deal with this. We'll have to unpack some more. We'll have to unpack some more. Folks, I know we are frustrated. Let me say this before I go. Right? Let me say this before I go. Because I know persons, I'm following the comments on Facebook. I'm seeing your comments. Pamela Johnson, sorry. You know, sometimes you've got to use some big words. Because the small words that I know I can't use it on Facebook. The 4-letter words that I want to use, the 4 and 5-letter words that I want to use, I can't use it. So pardon the big words. Right? I use 2 big words, because if you really use some 4-letter words that you want to use to describe this government, you might hear, I can't say that on Facebook. But I know we are frustrated. I can feel your frustration in your comments. I know people are talking about protest and shut down the country and all of these things. I will say to you, this is my position, that there's a time for everything. And I will repeat the words of 𝗧𝗵𝗲 𝗥𝘂𝘀𝗵, that when the people are ready, there ain't no stopping them. There ain't no stopping them when the people are ready. But everything is in the hands of the people. Because Randy could stand up here on the show, and Gavin Matthews and Sherrod Duncan and all of us, we can preach daily. But when the people have had enough, folks, that will be the day of reckoning in this country. And I believe that that day is swiftly approaching. Swiftly approaching. On tomorrow's show, we're going to be joined by 𝗧𝗵𝗲 and we are going to go through all of the atrocities of this PPP government since August the 2nd. One by one, from the shooting and the flooding of those squatters at the back of Success, which was one of the first things that they did, from the mishandling of the Henry Boys situation, we're going to go through. But as I said, when the people have had enough, it will be the day of reckoning in this country. And I believe that that day is swiftly coming. Mark my words. Mark my words. But folks, as I said, we are going to be joining Natasha Singh Lewis for her program. She has a special guest today, Mr. 𝗧𝗵𝗲, for those persons who know him. So you're going to tune in right here in the APN UFC TV, this same page, for that in a few minutes. But I want to share with you a bit of information before we go this afternoon. About some upcoming events that we want to ensure that you know about. Let me see if I can share some of your comments here. So the government needs to declare the country a state of emergency. All right, my homeland is in a sorry situation. This is June Ann from Facebook. Folks, you know, I can share your comments, right? I can see your comments, I can share them. So if you have any contribution to make to the show, let us know. Let us know. Right? If you have contribution to make to the show, let us know. Right? Let me just say to you though that this later in the week, before I sign off, give you a bit of information. All right? Let me see if I pull it up here for you. Right. Right. The Guyana Trade Union Congress will be presenting this Stanley Ming presentation, Guyana 2030. Right, a conceptual plan on what we need to pursue as a nation that is faced with new challenges due to the implications of climate change and the rising levels of the ocean. This is a presentation by Stanley Ming. This will be on the 9th, Wednesday the 9th. So we'll give you some more information and we'll share the flyer with you also. I'm interested to hear what Mr. Stanley Ming will be saying. Folks, thank you very much. All right. Carol Jacobs said, Randy, we already had enough. My blood is boiling. Right? My blood is boiling. Carol, you and I also. You and I. That is why I say to you, our day of reckoning is nigh. It's close. It's very close. Folks, let's continue to work for national development. Let's continue to work for national development. Take care of your friends and family. Remember, COVID-19 is still with us. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay tuned for our programming on this APN UFC TV, on this station, on this page, on YouTube, on Facebook. Thank you very much, and do enjoy the rest of your evening.